Scandinavian Airlines commemorates Flight 751. On December 27, 1991, Scandinavian Air Systems Flight 751 prepared to transport passengers from Stockholm to Copenhagen. The aircraft had been parked the evening before in temperatures of approximately 0 to 1 degree Celsius. Maintenance workers had been instructed to de-ice the plane twice and thoroughly by the captain. Commanded by Stefan Rasmussen and First Officer Ulf Cedermark, Flight 751 lifted off. But just 25 seconds into flight, the passengers and crew heard loud noises originating from the right engine. The captain reduced throttle. 39 seconds later, the left engine began acting strangely. In spite of the pilot's attempt to get both engines to comply, at 76 and 78 seconds into the flight, both the right and left engines failed. The pilot pitched the powerless plane downwards. He spotted a field to crash land. Upon impact, the vessel broke into 3 parts. The plane landed in a field in a forest in Gotura. Fortunately, of the 129 passengers, there were no fatalities. Captain Rasmussen gave his account of the incident when interviewed for Pilot Betrayed. He spoke of the little time he had to react to the emergency. He stated that although he reduced throttle, for reasons beyond his knowledge, throttle increased. The engines were non-responsive. His first officer had radioed into flight control, but by then it would have done more harm in trying to turn back than somehow keep the aircraft moving forward. A crash landing outcome would ultimately rely on his unexercised skills in landing a powerless plane. It is certain Captain Rasmussen never gave up throughout the flight. By the Airline Pilots Association Code of Ethics, a pilot will take whatever action he deems necessary to protect the lives of his passengers and crew. The captain was unaware of an automatic thrust restoration system in flight. Above all, Captain Rasmussen did as a pilot should by directing all his efforts into protecting everyone on board the vessel. Ulf Cedermark, the first officer, had radioed into the flight tower. Flight tower was unknown to any emergency occurring until both engines had fully failed. Thus, the flight crew delayed in relaying a message at the instant of hearing strange noises. In regards to the effective communication, the relay between the cockpit and the flight tower was not helpful in mitigating the emergency. The first officer stated, "Islander, we have a problem with our engines. We need to turn back." To which the tower responded, "Copy, turn right." The first officer did not successfully present the magnitude of the emergency to the tower. In actuality, the engines had already failed, and the plane was soaring powerless. It was shortly after determined that turning around would be proved to be more destructive. Subsequent to this, their communication medium was also broken due to power loss. It was witnessed that flight attendants kept passengers calm. Flight attendant Ingrid Astrom spoke of how afraid she was and had never been in such a situation. Despite being scared herself, she maintained a professional stance throughout the emergency. As insignificant as it may have seemed, her not panicking aided greatly in the crash landing mission to have the outcome that it did. Many injuries were lessened by her brace position instructions to passengers just before impact. The low temperatures of the night before when the plane was parked had caused cold fuel to linger on the upper side of the wings, forming clear ice. This layer was not removed during the icing, and shortly after liftoff, the layer broke into pieces of ice that flew into the engines and dented the fan blades, causing the engines to surge. Without the knowledge of the flight crew, automatic thrust restoration had been implemented in the aircraft. As the pilot reduced throttle, the ATR increased it, worsening the surges. As a result, the engine failed. We at SAS acknowledges that our negligence fueled what is our greatest disaster yet and jeopardized the safety of our customers and crew. Pilots are now being trained to handle the aircrafts with automatic thrust restoration. We are also exposing them to signs of engine surges and teaching them the proper response. Also, maintenance workers are being taught proper ways in detecting clear ice. The upper side of the wings must be felt to ensure no ice remains after de-icing. They are now provided with necessary tools to carry out these checks properly. In closing, we wish to commemorate the brave flight crew of SAS 751. These individuals express true professionalism in a time of crisis and fear. They are examples of everyday heroes to whom we graciously say, thank you.